Picture this. You're standing in a room full of people, a wedding, a high stakes networking event, or maybe just a quiet corner of a coffee shop on a first date. The initial exchange goes well. You've done the dance. You've asked where they're from, what they do, and how they know the host. But then it happens. The air in the room suddenly feels heavy. A cold, suffocating wall of silence drops between you. Your brain starts screaming, frantically scanning a blank hard drive for anything, a joke, a weather report, a random fact about space, but there is nothing, just a void. You feel your pulse thumping in your neck. Your face gets hot. You reach for your phone not because you have a message, but because you need a shield to hide your social defeat. We've all been there. We call it the social blackout. Most people think this happens because they are boring or because they lack some extrovert gene they were supposed to be born with. They think they are the only ones drowning in the quiet. But here's the shock moment that changes everything. The truth you've been hiding from. You aren't failing because you're awkward. You're failing because you're terrified of being real. Your politeness is a cage. In fact, your obsession with being safe and nice is exactly what's killing your connections. You've spent your whole life trying not to say the wrong thing, and in the process, you've made it impossible to say anything worth hearing. You are paralyzed by a self-imposed prison of social etiquette that the top 1% of communicators don't even acknowledge. Safety is the slow death of charisma. If you're ready to stop being a spectator in your own life, pay attention. Because once you see the invisible architecture of a real conversation, you can never go back to being the person who stares at their shoes. For years, you've been told that small talk is about exchanging information. That is a lie. Small talk is an emotional reconnaissance mission. I used to be the person who would literally rehearse icebreakers in the bathroom mirror before an event, thinking I just needed a better script. I felt socially broken, like I was missing a piece of software everyone else had downloaded at birth. I felt like a ghost in the machine. But then I realized that the people who never run out of things to say aren't following a script. They are simply seeing what you are choosing to ignore. They aren't smarter than you. They just have a lower barrier to entry for their own thoughts. They've stopped filtering and they've started living in the present. Think about the last time you felt stuck. Your inner sensor was likely working overtime, filtering every thought you had before it could reach the surface. You thought of a topic, judged it as too banal, and threw it away before it even hit your lips. You were searching for a diamond while sitting on a gold mine. Stop. Right now. That filter is the only thing standing between you and total social freedom. High-level communicators don't have better thoughts. They just don't kill their ideas before they are born. Perfectionism is just social anxiety in a suit. When you realize that every word someone speaks is actually a map to their entire world, the pressure to invent a topic vanishes instantly. Look at the words being spoken to you. Every sentence is a weave of hidden doors. If someone tells you they went hiking to escape a stressful week at the office, they aren't just giving you a fact. They are handing you their keys. You don't need to look for a new topic. The topic is already in the room. You just have to stop walking past the doors they are opening for you. Are they tired of their job? Do they love the mountains? Why do they need to escape? The problem isn't a lack of things to say. It's your refusal to walk through the doors being held open for you. Most people are so busy thinking about their next line that they miss the invitation entirely. But let's get uncomfortable for a second. Are you still with me? Because most people will listen to this and think, okay, I'll just ask more questions. That is a trap. Questions are for cops, statements are for friends. If you only ask why and where, you aren't a conversationalist, you're an interrogator. No one wants to feel like they're under a spotlight while they're trying to enjoy a drink. This is where the amateurs separate from the architects. The secret to making someone feel like they've known you for a decade in under 5 minutes isn't asking, it's reflecting. You don't need to dig, you just need to shine a light on what they've already shown you. Instead of asking, "What do you do for work?" which is the most mind numbing question on the planet, try making an observation. Say, "You seem like someone who thrives on high pressure environments. I'm guessing your work isn't exactly a 9 to 5 desk job. Notice what just happened." You didn't ask a question, you threw a hook. If you're right, they'll be impressed by your intuition. If you're wrong, they'll jump at the chance to correct you and tell you who they actually are. Either way, they are doing the talking, and you are the one steering the ship. You are giving their unspoken vibe a name. When you label someone's reality, you bypass their logical brain and go straight to their emotional core. You become a social architect, someone who doesn't just participate in a room, but builds the very atmosphere everyone else is breathing. Do you feel the shift yet? This is the point where most people get scared. They think, if I don't ask questions, what if they don't say anything back? That fear is your addiction to safety speaking again. True social power comes from your ability to handle the void. We've been conditioned to view silence as a failure, a gap that needs to be filled with noise. But in the world of high status communication, silence is a vacuum that pulls the truth out of people. When someone finishes a sentence, don't rush in to fill the gap. Give it 2 seconds, just two. Look them in the eye, nod slightly, and wait. That tiny pocket of white space forces the other person to dig deeper. It signals that you are actually processing what they said, rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Silence isn't a lack of things to say. It's the ultimate proof that you are comfortable in your own skin. This isn't just about getting better at talking. This is an identity shift. You are moving from the person who needs the conversation to go well to the person who makes the conversation go well. Most people spend their lives hoping others will be interesting. The social architect decides to be interested. There is a profound difference. One is a victim of the environment. The other is the creator of it. You don't need a more exciting life to never run out of things to say. You don't need to climb Everest or win a Nobel Prize. You just need to be more curious about the person in front of you than you are afraid of their judgment. Here is the mental punch you need to hear. The person you are talking to is just as afraid of being boring as you are. They are also scanning for threads. They are also fighting their own inner censor. When you start noticing the weave, when you stop interrogating and start mirroring, and when you master the void, you aren't just talking. You are performing a rescue mission. You are saving them from the same social anxiety you used to feel. You aren't just a guest at the party anymore. You are the person who makes the party worth attending. You have stopped being a consumer of social energy and started being a provider of it. The goal was never to be the loudest person in the room. It was to be the most present. When you walk away from a conversation, the other person shouldn't be thinking, "Wow, they had such great stories." They should be thinking, "Wow, I felt amazing talking to them." That is the highest form of social mastery. It's the realization that conversation isn't a performance of your ego, it's a gift of your attention. You've been playing the game on hard mode by trying to be interesting. Switch to easy mode and just be interested. Stop being the background noise of your own life. If you've made it this far, you're already part of the small percentage of people willing to look under the hood of human interaction. You aren't just learning tips, you are recoding your social DNA. Go out today, not tomorrow, today, and find one thread in a casual conversation. Pull on it. Don't judge it. Just see where it leads. You'll find that the world is a lot louder and a lot more welcoming when you stop trying to be safe and start trying to be real. If you're ready to fully step into the role of a social architect, type it in the comments. Let the world know you're done being a spectator. And if you want to know the physical secrets, the body language shifts that make you charismatic before you even open your mouth, you need to watch this next video. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. Most people die in the silence they were too afraid to break. Don't be one of them. Hit subscribe to join the architects. I'll see you in the next one.